The late-day sun threw elongated shadows through the intricate windows of the Majestic Palmer Hotel, bathing the polished stone floors in pools of warm golden glow. Isabelle Martin smoothed the collar off her maid's uniform, her bright orange gloves vivid against the subdued gray and white of her outfit. At 58, she was most senior member of the cleaning crew, yet she moved with a seasoned grace that outshone many younger workers. "Isabelle, a guest is nearing fewest hallway," murmured Lily. "A recent addition to the team. Seems important." Isabelle gave a grateful nod for the heads up. The Majestic Palmer enforced strict rules about staff-guest interactions, especially with the prominent figures who often booked the deluxe suites. Brief words, eyes lowered, step aside as they passed. These were the unspoken guidelines that kept the hotel's unseen operations flowing seamlessly. As Isabelle glanced up, she spotted him, a tall man in a flawless navy suit, striding with deliberate steps along the hallway. She instantly recognized him as Edward Lancaster, the hotel's latest investor and rumored future proprietor. At 45, he had already built a vast fortune in property development, with a collection of upscale estates across 3 continents. Isabelle averted her eyes and moved to the side off the corridor, as protocol required. But just as Mr. Lancaster was about to pass, her phone chimed the distinct tone she'd chosen for her daughter, Sophie, who was 7 months pregnant with Isabelle's first grandchild. Without thinking, Isabelle reached for her phone, momentarily forgetting her surroundings. The screen confirmed it was Sophie, and she answered in the smooth French that had always been their private bond, a tie to her late husband's heritage. Her voice was warm and lyrical, the French words flowing effortlessly. Only after speaking did Isabelle realize her error. She had violated protocol by taking a personal call in front of a guest, and not just any guest, but Edward Lancaster himself. "I'll call you back," she whispered quickly into the phone, tucking it away. "On terriblisserie, sir," she said, her pulse racing. "It was my daughter. She's expecting, and I was worried." Mr. Lancaster had paused, his gaze fixed on her with an unreadable look. His deep eyes seemed to linger on her face for a long moment before he gave a slight nod and continued on his way. Isabelle exhaled shakily, trying to steady her pounding heart. "That was careless," she muttered to herself. "Was that French?" Lily asked, eyes wide. "I didn't know you spoke French." "My husband was from Quebec," Isabelle explained softly. "We always used French at home, especially with our daughter. It's our link to him since he passed." The rest of Isabelle's shift passed without incident, but she couldn't shake the sense that her brief lapse might bring repercussions. The Majestic Palmer thrived on precision and discretion, qualities instilled in every worker during training. That evening, as Isabelle hung her uniform in the modest closet of her simple apartment, her phone rang again. It was Sophie calling back. "Mom, I'm so sorry about earlier," her daughter said. "Was it a bad time?" "It's okay, sweetheart," Isabelle reassured her, sinking into her favorite armchair. "I was just in front of one of the hotel's key guests. How are you feeling? How's my grandchild?" "We're both okay, just the usual aches," Sophie replied. "But Mom, you sound worried. Is everything all right?" Isabelle sighed. Sophie had always been intuitive. "It's nothing major, just a minor rule slip. I'm sure it'll be forgotten by tomorrow." But as Isabelle readied for bed, she couldn't help but worry. Jobs like hers, with decent benefits and fair hours, were rare at her age. She needed this role, especially now, with Sophie's baby coming. Isabelle had been saving for months to help with nursery costs and childcare. "It'll be fine," she told herself firmly, switching off the light. "One call won't cost me my job." The next morning, Isabelle arrived at the hotel 15 minutes early, as was her custom. She was heading to the staff locker room when Clara Thompson, the head of housekeeping, stopped her. "Isabelle, Mr. Bradley wants to see you in his office." Right away, Isabelle Stamach nodded. William Bradley was the hotel manager, a strict man in his 60s who rarely dealt with housekeeping unless there was an issue. "Did he say what it's about?" Isabelle asked, striving to keep her voice calm. Clara's look was sympathetic. "No, but an incident report was filed yesterday, something about a staff member taking a personal call in front of Mr. Lancaster." Isabelle closed her eyes briefly. "I see. I'm sure it'll be okay," Clara said, patting her arm gently. "You're one of our best. Just go see what he wants." The walk to Mr. Bradley's office felt endless. Isabelle had worked at the Majestic Palmer for nearly 6 years without a single reprimand, priding herself on her professionalism and care. Now, one moment of concern for her daughter had jeopardized everything. Bradley was waiting behind his desk, his expression unreadable as Isabelle entered. "Please sit down, Mrs. Martin." Isabelle sat in the edge of the chair, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Mr. Bradley, if this is about yesterday, I want to apologize." He raised a hand, stopping her. "Mrs. Martin, I've called you here because we've received feedback about your interaction with Edward Lancaster yesterday. I understand, and I take full responsibility." Isabelle said quickly, "My daughter is expecting, and when I saw her call, I answered without thinking. It won't happen again." Mr. Bradley sighed heavily. "I'm afraid this isn't just about answering a call, Mrs. Martin. The Majestic Palmer has strict policies about staff-guest interactions for a reason. Orgists expect a certain level of invisibility from our service team." Isabelle felt a chill settle over her. Am I being terminated? "I regret to inform you that, yes, your employment with the Majestic Palmer is terminated. Effective immediately." The word struck Isabelle like a blow. 6 years of flawless service ended over one moment of concern for her daughter. "I see," she managed, her voice steady despite the storm inside. "May I ask if there's any chance for reconsideration? My record has been spotless until now, and the decision comes from above me." Mrs. Martin, Mr. Bradley interrupted not unkindly. "You'll receive 2 weeks' severance pay, and we'll provide a reference for your next position." Isabelle nodded numbly. What else could she do? "I understand. Thank you for the severance." As she gathered her few belongings from her liquor, Isabelle fought back tears. She had bills to pay, a pregnant daughter to support, and now, at 58, she faced job hunting again. "I heard what happened," Lily said softly, appearing beside her. "It's not fair, Isabelle. Not fair at all. It's their policy," Isabelle replied, forcing a faint smile. "I knew the rules, but firing you over answering a call from your pregnant daughter, and you've been here, what, 6 years, almost," Isabelle confirmed, closing her locker for the last time. "But what's done is done. I'll find something else." But as Isabelle left the Majestic Palmer that morning, she wondered if that was true. The hospitality industry wasn't kind to workers' heritage, and while she had experience, many places preferred younger staff for more demanding shifts, one day at a time. She murmured as boarded the bus home. One day at a time, a week. Later, Isabelle's job search was proving as tough as she'd feared. She had applied to Avery Hotel and Resort within commuting distance, but received only 2 callbacks, both for lower-paying jobs with erratic hours that would make helping Sophie nearly impossible. On Friday afternoon, Isabelle was sorting bills at her small kitchen table when her phone rang. An unknown number appeared. "Hello," she answered cautiously. "Is this Isabelle Martin?" A woman's sharp, professional voice asked. "Yes, this is she. My name is Laura Bennett, executive assistant to Mr. Edward Lancaster. Mr. Lancaster would like to meet with you at your earliest convenience. Would tomorrow at 10 o'clock be possible?" Isabelle nearly dropped her phone in shock. "Mr. Lancaster? The investor from the Majestic Palmer?" "The same," the woman confirmed. "He has a proposal he wishes to discuss with you personally." Isabelle's mind raced. Was this about her firing? Perhaps he felt guilty for her dismissal. Or was here another issue she didn't know about? "May I ask what this is regarding?" Isabelle ventured. Double quotes, "Mr. Lancaster prefers to discuss it in person. The meeting would be at his downtown office. Transportation can be arranged if needed." Still puzzled but seeing no reason to decline, Isabelle agreed. 10 a.m. tomorrow would be fine. "Thank you, Ms. Bennett." After hanging up, Isabelle called Sophie immediately, switching to French as she shared the odd invitation. "C'est bizarre," Sophie said. "I have no idea," Isabelle replied, "but I'll find out tomorrow." That night, Isabelle slept fitfully, her mind spinning with possibilities for the mysterious meeting. By morning, she settled on the most logical explanation. Mr. Lancaster, feeling remorse for her termination, might offer additional severance. She dressed carefully in her best blazer and skirt, professional, not Keat interview attire, but dignified. Whatever this meeting was, she would face it with poise. The address led her to one of the city's most prestigious office buildings. In the gleaming lobby, a security guard directed her to a private elevator to the top floor, Lancaster Enterprises. Isabelle's stomach fluttered as the elevator rose when the doors opened. She stepped into an elegant reception area where a poised woman in her 40s greeted her with a practiced smile. "Mrs. Martin, I'm Laura Bennett. Mr. Lancaster is expecting you. Please follow me." She led Isabelle through a hallway lined with striking black and white photos of iconic buildings, hotels. Isabelle realized, recognizing several renowned properties. At the hall's end, Miss Bennett knocked lightly on a door before opening it. "Mrs. Martin is here." "Sir." The office was spacious yet understated, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning city view. Edward Lancaster rose from behind his desk, as commanding as Isabelle remembered. "Mrs. Martin, thank you for coming," he said, gesturing to a comfortable chair across from his desk. "Please take a seat. Can I offer you coffee?" "Yes, coffee would be lovely, thank you," Isabelle replied, surprised by the warm welcome. Once Miss Bennett brought their coffee and left, closing the door, Mr. Lancaster got to the point. "Mrs. Martin, I wanted to personally apologize for what happened at the Majestic Palmer. Your termination was an overreaction and not my intent. When it mentioned our encounter to management, Isabelle was stunned. You didn't ask for Meadow be fired?" He shook his head. "Absolutely not. I merely asked about you. Unfortunately, William Bradley has a strict view of hotel policy. By the time I learned of your dismissal, it was done." Isabelle sipped her coffee, unsure how to respond. "That's kind of you to clarify, Mr. Lancaster, but what's done is done, actually," he said, leaning forward slightly. "That's why I asked you here. I'd like to offer you a position." Isabelle nearly choked on her coffee. "Excuse me? I heard you speaking French that day in the hallway," he explained. "Flawless French with what sounded like a Quebec accent." "Correct." Isabelle nodded, still confused. "My late husband was from Montreal. We spoke French at home for our daughter's sake, to maintain her connection to her heritage." "That's exactly what caught my attention," Mr. Lancaster said, a smile softening his usual stern features. "I've recently acquired a boutique hotel in the historic district, Avery House. We're renovating and rebranding it as a luxury property with a unique concept. Personalized service for international guests, with staff who can communicate in their native languages." He handed her a sleek brochure showing renderings of a beautifully restored Victorian building. "We're focusing on French-Canadian tourists, who make up a large share of visitors to our city. But we've struggled to find staff with genuine fluency and cultural knowledge." Isabelle studied the brochure, her mind racing. "And you're offering me what position, exactly?" "Guest relations manager for our French-speaking clientele," he replied without hesitation. "University their entire experience from pre-arrival communication to tailored itineraries during their stay. The role includes a significant salary increase from your pay at the Majestic Palmer, comprehensive benefits, and if you're interested, the chance to help develop our training program for other language specialists." Isabelle was speechless. After a moment, she found her voice. "Mr. Lancaster, I don't know what to say. This is very generous, but I'm not sure I'm qualified. I've never held a management role, but you have 6 years of experience in luxury hospitality and impeccable service record according to your colleagues at the Palmer, and something that can't be taught, authentic cultural and linguistic fluency." His expression grew more animated. "Mrs. Martin, in this industry, finding someone with your skills is rare. What happened at the Majestic Palmer was unfortunate, but perhaps it was fortuitous. Sometimes the wrong door closes so the right one can open." Isabelle felt tears welling and took a deep breath to steady herself. "May I ask, when would this position begin?" "We're opening in 3 months, however. I'd like you to start immediately as part of the opening team helping develop our survey standards and training materials at full salary, of course." 3 months just in time for Sophie's baby. Isabelle could envision it. A new career, better hours, and the financial stability to support her daughter when she needed it most. Would it be possible to have a few days to consider? Your offer, she asked, wanting to discuss it with Sophie first. Of course, Mr. Lancaster replied, handing her a folder. Here's the formal offer letter with all details. Take your time. Mrs. Martin, but I appeal say yes. As Isabelle left the building, clutching the folder to her chest, she felt a lightness she hadn't known in years. She thought of her late husband, Philippe, who had always believed in second chances and fresh starts. Tu avais raison, mon amour. She whispered, gazing at the clear blue sky. There's always a new path to find. That evening, as Isabelle shared the news with Sophie over dinner, her daughter's eyes brimmed with joyful tears. Mom, it's perfect, and you lose the French Dad was so proud of. It's like he's still watching over us somehow. Isabelle smiled, thinking of the strange chain of events that had led her here. From a broken rule to a promising new chapter, life takes unexpected turns, she said softly, placing her hand over Sophie's. Sometimes, what seems like an end is just a curve in the road. 2 days later, Isabelle accepted the position. 3 months after that, when the Avery House opened its doors to guests from around the world, Isabelle Martin stood in the elegant lobby, greeting a couple from Montreal in their native French. Her golden name tag gleamed under the chandelier's light dot as she guided them to their suite, explaining the hotel's amenities with the warm confidence of someone who had found her true calling. Isabelle thought about how one phone call had changed everything, closing one chapter of her life and opening another, far richer one. In the months that followed, as she built bonds with guests who returned repeatedly, specifically requesting Madame Isabelle for their stays, she understood the wisdom that only life's trials can teach. Our greatest setbacks often pave the way to our greatest opportunities. If we have the courage to step through the doors that unexpectedly open before us,